Enterprise on BFM 89.9.
Good afternoon, I'm Frida Liu. Get educated and enlightened with the tools to help you succeed in your business on Enterprise. I'm speaking to Nuraslina Zainal Abidin of GENAXIS and Sivalinga Muthupalinappan, Director, Process Tools and Six Sigma of MIMOS in our Productivity Series. This is BFM 89.9. Siva, what does MIMOS do?
Firstly, thanks, Frida. MIMOS is actually a R&D organization. It's a government agency under the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. So there are 8 trusted areas, technology areas that MIMOS is working on, mainly in the areas of advanced informatics, communication technologies, cyberspace security, encryption system, grid computing, knowledge technology, micro-energy systems, and micro-lateral mechanical systems. Now, as we are an R&D organization, we are actually divided into 2 areas. One is the research part, one is the development. So the research requires the innovativeness where you come up with new ideas for these various trusted domain areas. Then the development actually comes up with a one-time product off the shelf that we provide to the SMEs to take over and do mass production and do execution on that.
And how long has MIMOS been around as an entity?
It has been around for the last 20 years.
Oh, 20 years. And with a large, how large a staff force does MIMOS have?
We have over 500 people. Majority are researchers and researchers who are in the area of software development. As MIMOS, majority of the product, 80% of our product is in the area of software development, 20% of the hardware.
All right. And when did MIMOS decide to implement Six Sigma?
Okay, we started our journey on Six Sigma back in 2006, October 2006. This was actually kick-started by our President and CEO, Dr. Abdul Wahab. And we started with an awareness program. We actually did an engagement with an external vendor to help kickstart this program for 3 years. And the program goes on 3 different stages. We call it Wave 1, Wave 2, and Wave 3. And in each wave, we introduce a program for white belt. That's the initial stage where the awareness on what Six Sigma is about is people are trained on. And then we have the green belt program where a candidate takes up a project and executes the project, and then next move on to a black belt where the intents of the project is greater in the black belt compared to the green belt.
Okay, and what were the objectives of this being implemented?
Okay, one of the reasons why we have embarked on Six Sigma is because Six Sigma is a known, proven method for process improvement, and it's it's recognized and is used by a lot of companies, multinationals, and we have actually started using this also because another initiative which MIMOS is running is called the Capability Maturity Integrated Model. This is actually a model or a standard for software development. It's a world-recognized standard introduced by the Software Engineering Institute at Carnegie Mellon University in US. And one of the requirements of this model is that you have to move up the model from level 1, level 2, level 3, up to level 5. This is, at level 5, we call it process improvement. And a lot of the Six Sigma initiative supports the level 4, which is quantitative management. In quantitative management, you have a lot of statistical approaches, example, predictive models you have to come up with. You have to have regression analysis done. And a lot of these tools are very strongly supported by Six Sigma. So as such, we embarked on Six Sigma to help support this model as well.
All right. And what were the challenges in implementing Six Sigma?
As in any organization, I think bringing in new initiatives does bring challenges, basically awareness to individuals on what Six Sigma is all about. So we started off with the white belt program, and as we in the white belt program, we actually explain what the background of Six Sigma is, what is involved, how does it help the organization to improve in process improvement. And we have noticed that over the years that we have got very encouraging response. In fact, today, if I were to say, we have about 419 white belt holders in the organization, so from the bottom hierarchy up to the top level.
Okay, and Nuraslina, how did you help address these challenges working with MIMOS?
We did not work with MIMOS in terms of getting the Six Sigma done, but I believe MIMOS has gone through a rigorous effort in getting the Six Sigma up and running, and therefore that's why they are called here today, so that they can share their success stories in terms of getting this done. In my area of job, I don't select whether they are my customers or not, but I select those people that has implemented and have got a good practice being done in their organization, so that other people can benchmark. I find that, coming back to your question just now, challenges that they faced in terms of getting Six Sigma being implemented, it's always, I believe, Six Sigma is such a technical term. The first thing when you mention Six Sigma to anybody, especially programmers, I have an office full of programmers, their eyes will become round, and then they'll be like, what is that? That in itself is a barrier, because it's a jargon. It's something that is so unfamiliar and it's scary. So today, in fact, I was in a university trying to tell them how, because they're going to start on their Six Sigma program, and the first thing they told us was like, this is going to be tough. We tried doing this internally, we can't get it done. How are you gonna face this challenge? So first thing I said, throw away the Six Sigma name. Throw it away. Call it whatever you want to call it, but throw it away, because the name itself is a barrier. So once we realize that, human will be human. We have to understand the psychology of learning. Once we understand that the barrier comes from a word or knowing something that is, in the area of MIMOS, these are developers, these are creative people, we call them, or technical people. When you talk something like statistics, they go like, what has that got to do with me? Get the quality people to do it. That is their perception. So you've got to deal with the barrier of the learning first, which is take away the element of complexity. So name it, innovative development, coin a name for it. Just now we were coining a name for education. So we say, come up with a name for accelerated learning. That is in itself is an initiative. And whatever tools you use, whether it's Six Sigma, whether it's Kaizen or Kanban, whatever it is, but your objective is towards achieving accelerated learning. So, or in this case of MIMOS, is actually to achieve excellent innovation or innovative solutions. So, whatever the tools are, that is in first level or first ground. I call it ground zero. Everybody at the same level. Let's remove the barriers that we understand about people. The same thing the other day, I was with one of the telecommunication provider, and they were doing, interesting, as a Six Sigma consultant, I get to be called in when people are doing rebranding exercise, to come out with their new ad, and they get their Six Sigma consultant to sit there and say, give us your feedback. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So from the perspective of a process person, when we talk about rebranding of an organization, my perspective would be, talk about your people first. An organization can be seen from outside as in, this is a good organization, for example, or an effective organization, or a fast, or a slow organization. It's got nothing to do with the logo of the company. I always tell people that, sometimes people spend millions of dollars just changing a logo. I had a client who did that. And then we did a post-survey, because part of Six Sigma initiative is actually to look at effectiveness of spending. And we did a post-survey, and then we found out that 78% of your customers says, we don't care. We don't care how your logo looks like. But what we care is the service and performance that you provide to us. So in my perspective, when we do Six Sigma, it's always about the people factor first. And even when you want to do rebranding or or re-strategizing. You know, I tell people, like yesterday I said, do internal rebranding, you know. Stop talking about what people want to look at us, but how do we think of ourselves? Sometimes when we have a big rebranding initiative going out there, we launch a new logo, we have a new KPIs, we give a new CEOs or MD or whatever not, you know. And then we say, yeah, okay, everybody say, wow, that's good, you know. And then the people that we have does not support the image or the brand that we're projecting out there. That's where you have this issue of over-promising. I salute all the advertising agencies. We have damn good ones here in Malaysia. You know, I salute them. They're very good. But sometimes the level they take your company to is just too far beyond than what your people can provide. So that is the part where we need to close the gap. So Six Sigma initiative is about internal branding. It's about creating, like what Siva said just now, it's about creating the awareness to people that anything that they do has got a cost factor. Think about that. Everything that we do has got a time factor. Think about that. You know, so you don't come into a room and talk about things that are, you know, wishy-washy. And yeah, I need to do this. I need a $100,000 budget. You know, yeah, okay, justify that.
Right. So Six Sigma is basically applicable to all industries and even to life.
Yes.
All right. BFM 89.9 is speaking to Nuraslina Zainal Abidin of GENAXIS and Sivalingam from MIMOS in our productivity series. So what is MIMOS Six Sigma roadmap? See, even I have a problem saying that. Go ahead.
So what what we have embarked on in 2006 is just the initial part. So what we would like to see is that first we would like to establish the groundwork, which is actually produce the certified green belters and black belters. So our roadmap is, as of today, we have 419 white belters, and we have 23 green belters, and we have 3 black belters. So, and this year's goal is actually to increase that. We're going for additional 5 black belts as well as another 22 green belts. And what we would like to see at the end of this year is also we would like to come up with a program that we are, currently we are following a standard Six Sigma program. MIMOS being an R&D organization, there's a lot of customization that needs to be done because it's a research area. And another thing is that we are involved in software. If you look at the background of Six Sigma has been very effective in manufacturing environment because you see you can actually produce daily you're producing an output. So if you fix a problem, you can see the results in the next few days. Whereas software is a little bit different. We have a software development life cycle which can span anywhere between 3 months to about 8 to 12 months. So if you fix something, you probably have to wait for a couple of months before you actually see your results. And Six Sigma also involves picking data. You need to have the appropriate data samples, you see. And if you, in software development, because you have to wait for the cycles, you have to, it takes a longer time for the data to come in. Now what we have done is we have actually broken down projects from main projects into sub-projects into components. This actually allows us to pick up more data. And this, enables us to actually analyze the problem in much more detail. So what we have planned to do, part of the roadmap by end of this year, is actually to come up with MIMOS customized Six Sigma, and where we take case studies of research from the research group as well as from the software development group, and come up with a wholesome package which we feel that might benefit somebody who operate just like us, maybe another government R&D organization or any SMEs.
I guess also the question is, with the increased number of white belters and green belters and all these belts, right? What does it mean to your customer out there with all these improvements?
So what it means is basically we are using Six Sigma to finally show that the product that we are releasing is of a high standard, you say. And the improvements that we have done on the products based on Six Sigma method that we have used. So it is basically what gets to the customer in the end as a product.
Okay. And was there something lacking before? I mean, or something that we felt that, oh, we need to revamp and improve, or we were getting stagnant, and that's why we decided to do this?
I don't think it's anything to do with lacking. It is more to improve what is currently is there. Not to say that there was no quality before. Well, to further improve the quality as of where we are today, to make it even better.
All right. So, and sorry.
I was just that was right, because a lot of people have this assumption that if you don't do Six Sigma means you're bad. Not necessarily, because you can be doing any other activities and you are as good. But it's just that Six Sigma allows you to take your process to a level higher, where you are able to identify sources of variation in your processes. And coming back to your question of what does it mean when you have white belts, green belts, black belts, master black belt, soon you're coming out with a purple belt, I don't know what kind of belts, but what does it mean to the customer when you say we have all these sorts of belts in our company? One simple thing. When we have all these belters, it means that whatever they do, they have the customer in mind. The first thing in their mind is the customer. So they are cautious about cost, they're cautious about time, they're cautious about the quality, they're cautious about who they're designing their product for. Because before this, it's probably just, I'm just doing this because it's a job. But after Six Sigma, I now understand why I need to do this, because I need to fulfill my customer needs. So that's what it means. So if you are a customer to Mimos, for example, and you know that they're doing Six Sigma initiative, you can rest assured that whatever they're doing, they have the quality, the cost and time factor in their mind. So you would not be paying extra for wastages or for things that are unnecessary in their processes.
All right. And I guess just from there as well, the value of Six Sigma value for Mimos to the business world and the global arena. What, if you could just elaborate further on that, what does it mean now that you've got all these belters in place?
So, what our vision is actually to at least have one black belt holder in every project or in the research lab. This is because they can actually use the Six Sigma method to resolve any problems within that particular research lab. So, and Six Sigma actually uses a lot of tools. Okay, like what Nurul mentioned, some companies might not be doing Six Sigma, but actually they are using some of those tools. What Six Sigma actually does is very organized. It got all these tools, and they define a phase in which they say, okay, in this phase, example, in the define phase, these are the tools you have to use. In the measure phase, these are the type of tools and analysis you have to do. So it's a very organized way of doing things. So by having this implemented into the labs, we hope that it will actually bring out the innovation in the research side, as well as improve the productivity of software development.
All right. BFM 89.9, I'm speaking to Nuraslina Zainal Abidin of GENAXIS and Siva Lingam, the director of Mimos in our productivity series. So what is Mimos' future plans now?
Future plans in terms of the initiative we are running, example for CMMI, we are already a level 3 organization. We got our accreditation in 2007. This year we are going for level 5. So as I mentioned earlier, level 4, before getting to level 5, you need the level 4 to be stabilized. And that's where our Six Sigma actually comes in and really stabilizes the level 4 before we move on to continuous process improvement at level 5. And our plan is to achieve these levels by this year. And what we plan to do also, as I mentioned earlier, we want to come up with our own curriculum system for Six Sigma, establish that, and try to use that, and also preach that to the other government agencies, where it will be applicable.
Is level 5 the last level, or how many levels are there?
Level 5 is the last.
It's the last level, and with that we can declare...
Until some other consultant come up.
with another level. All right. And just a final question also, Siva, is, in your opinion, Six Sigma a fad or fundamental?
Okay, Six Sigma has been around for a very long time, so I wouldn't say it's sort of a craze for people to just take it up and use it. There's a purpose for any organization to embark on Six Sigma initiatives, and the main focus, like what Nurul has mentioned earlier, is customer focused. We want to deliver our product with high quality and standard, and in fact bring down the cost of producing the product as well.
Nuraslina, last words?
Fad or fundamental? I like that. I think my perspective of that, it can be both. Okay, it can be a fad if the person who decides to do Six Sigma for the organization just wants to have a crazy name for a while, or fame for a while. You know, it's like, while I'm in control, let's do this because it's the in thing, so I will get popularity for that certain time frame. That is a fact, because you know, this type of initiative, you can't just decide to take it on one day and to put it off the next day. Doesn't happen, because it impacts people, it impacts the career pathing. These are culture. As I mentioned throughout the program that we've been having, it is a culture thing. Why does Six Sigma work? Because it is a culture initiative, culture towards data, culture to continuous improvement, culture towards quality. There may be any other initiative that you adopt, balance scorecard, or what do you call that, leadership management, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. But as long as you choose one and you stick to it, you know, you will do fine. You know, it can be fundamental if it is ingrained in the company's DNA. Means that this is our organization. We are quality conscious, time conscious, cost conscious. This is how we want to do things, and we've chosen Six Sigma to do it. So you make it compulsory, everybody must do it. You don't get promoted if you don't do Six Sigma. You can't join us if you're not Six Sigma. You make it the DNA of the company, it becomes a fundamental. So it's a choice for the person who's heading the organization. That's why the other day I had a discussion, and this manager was telling me, I'm so interested in doing Six Sigma. I said, forget it, because your boss does not buy in. Until and when your boss says, I want to do it, you know, then you go ahead and do it, because you will be fighting a battle too big for you. Your cake is too big, you can't eat it. Yeah. So fad or fundamental depends on who runs the company, who runs the whole organization.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. BFM 89.9, I've been speaking to Nuraslina Zainal Abidin of GENAXIS and Siva Lingam, the director of MIMOS, in our productivity series.